So I got my latest project here, another 5 HP. Got this block off of eBay. Came with the crankshaft. Got them both for, I think it was $25, $35. Got this side cover off of eBay about a year ago for like $9, $9.99. Got it taped off because I'm gonna paint it. Basically honed it, new piston, new stock rod. It's basically all stock inside. And then I don't have any of these plates, these cover plates, so I'm gonna have to use one of those oil guard sensors. Put that in there, and basically ready to paint it. Probably tomorrow. Got new intake valve, reuse exhaust. I'll show you the intake valve. Pretty nasty stuff. So I've got pretty nasty intake valve, and I don't think it was even sealing. I think when the engine was stored, it wasn't making. I think the intake valve was open, or it was just had so much gunk from running the engine that it God, it's terrible. So that's why I replaced it. I don't want to clean that. I have like a couple of dozen new intake valves. Don't really have a use for this motor yet. Might use it for a air compressor project. I'd like to have like a gas powered air compressor. I don't know, I might sell it on Craigslist. Don't really know. But yeah, I cleaned this with the pressure washer a while ago, and then I did it again today. 3/4 inch crankshaft, 3/4 inch keyed. Basically work with anything. Ball bearing side cover, large bearing. Block is it's a bushing, but it's removable because this is a IC industrial commercial block, so it's sleeved, so it's pretty good. So I want to get it all painted because gosh, this side cover looks good on the other side, but God, it looks terrible. It might have been used for racing, but yeah, I just need some paint. Oh, there's something else here. Really didn't know what was wrong with this motor when I got it because I didn't get all the parts. No piston, just the block, the valves, and the crankshaft. But right here I noticed right there, right about there, there's some browning of the paint because these blocks are painted. So there's some browning there, and it's coming from like this bolt right here, just kind of going across there. It usually indicates like a blown head gasket, and what it is, the paint burned, so there was a lot of heat. So I'm thinking there was a blown head gasket, maybe didn't notice, and ran it for a while, and that might have caused problems. I don't know, but usually the browning on this motor, it's all up in this corner because the exhaust valve is so hot. It's the hottest part of the motor, and there'll be browning down here. But if you look at this exhaust port, that's mostly rust, but that doesn't look too great. But that's not going to hurt anything. It's pretty clean. Valve stem looks okay, and I'm going to go ahead and paint it. Some people tape it off. I'm going to paint it, and it'll probably just eventually wear off after a while. Intake looks kind of weird. A little bit of corrosion there, but you know, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to go anywhere. Already checked it. There's really nothing coming off there. Ran a rag pressure washer. So hopefully this works out pretty good. Okay, here's the second video. I remember in the last video I said I was going to rebuild this with basically stock parts, factory parts, and since then I've changed my mind, and mainly because I found this right here, and I found this in my box of parts, and haven't used it yet. I also found out I don't have any bearings for it, but I found out to use it, it'll work with ARC rod bearings, which I do have. I have 2 brand new sets, so I can use this. A little bit concerned about the fitment, so I'll have to test fit it and see if that works. I also want to try out this camshaft I forgot I had. I've got this performance camshaft. It's a little bit different than usual, than the normal performance camshafts. Let's see if I can get this off here. Okay. And basically, I want to show you the lobes here. Lobes on this camshaft, kind of short, but lots of duration. It's got low lift and lots of duration there, and they almost look flat, but I'm told that's supposed to give good mid-range power, like torque, a lot of torque between 3,000 maybe 6,000 RPMs. And oh, here it is. I'll show you the factory camshaft that comes with Briggs, so you can see what the difference is. Okay, so here's the factory lobes, and yeah, they're a little bit flat on the top, but they're mainly pointy and triangular, you know. And then you look at this one again, and that looks really square on the top. And this cam, yeah, so this cam actually has less lift than the Briggs factory, but it has so much duration that it helps to bring in more air-fuel mixture into the combustion chamber. And I'll probably have to use some high lift springs with it. Well, yesterday I got the connecting rod installed. I test fitted it a few times. Let me see here. Let me take this off. Oh. Alright. Let's see here. I'll take that off. Okay, let's get this paperwork out of here. So, basically the connecting rod fits pretty good. The only thing it came close to was this cam lobe right here. That would be the exhaust cam lobe. So, let me see if I can move this around. You can see in there. So here's the combustion chamber, the deck. I got that new valve, intake valve. Lapped them both. Lapped the existing exhaust valve. Honed with new piston ring and new piston. Put this intake on here today. I'm not sure what carb I'm going to run. Got this, of course, HL239B carburetor. Just one I keep around for testing. I don't know if you can read that. Not easy to read. Yep, pretty good carburetor. And then, of course, this newer carburetor I bought. It's one of the made in China ones. It's that made in China carburetor I've been putting on everything lately. And pretty nice piece. I like it. These are pretty clean. Smell like machining oil though. It's kind of funny. I guess they should if they're brand new. So I'll put that there just as a comparison. And this is the HL239B, like there. As you can see, these are the throttle bores that goes to the intake right here. So there's that. As you can see, the intake on these Chinese ones are quite a bit larger, and that's why I've been using them. Quite a bit larger there, and it does help gain power. But HL239B is a good carb for medium performance. And then, you know, I've been playing around with E85 quite a bit. And this is paperwork I put in the I put in my motors when I'm putting them together. It's basically a checklist, and I've got the date I started like putting this engine together, and just the different parts for building it. Put little check marks. And at the bottom I've got clearance and specifications, just to find out if I've already checked clearances and you know, torque bolts down. I write it all down here, and it comes in handy. This is something I designed on the computer, and I think it's a spreadsheet program, and it comes in handy and lets me know what I need. This checklist, you know, what parts I need, and I can put them in a box and just check them off. So that's it for now. It's looking pretty good. So I want to get this thing painted, but since I use that billet rod, the oil guard's not going to fit. So what I'm going to do is, I don't have these block off plates, so I had to order one from a store online. So it should come with the plate, the gasket, and the 2 screws. And then I want to get that all mounted up before I paint this block, so it looks, you know, looks like it was there the whole time. And then I'll get this painted, and then I think for the rest of the parts, like the cylinder head, I've got this magneto. I got this off eBay a while ago. It was cheap. It works really good, but this spark plug wire is not long enough. I checked it out yesterday, and it stretches pretty good to get on the spark plug of the cylinder head, so I might have to find a new wire, or maybe borrow a coil from another engine. I have another engine in mind that I want to donate parts to this project for, and that'll be later. Alright, here's the block. Again, retaped everything. I kept peeling off the tape, so the tape was getting old. Got a nice clean line here around the gasket surface. Left this tab. It'll make it easy to remove after painting. Left this intake on, took the studs out. Gonna paint this intake and this fitting here. A little bit old and rusty. Look better when it's painted. I got the gasket on there. Just leave that alone after it's painted. I'm gonna paint this, kind of clean it up, even though you won't probably see it. So got this all taped up. Ball bearing is in there, and I was able to put a piece of tape on there and then cut all the edges. That way it doesn't get in the ball bearing, but I could get the paint inside there. Just got little things stuffed in there. Took the oil drain plugs out. I just figured I'd take them out, because if I paint them, every time I drain the oil, it's just gonna chip the paint on them, and then they're just gonna look terrible after a while. So just better to leave them out, and as long as you don't spray directly in there, you know, there's not gonna be much paint. You know, they'll just get in the threads a little bit, but it shouldn't actually get in the oil. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Put the gasket on there, 2 bolts, tighten it up. Oh, and got the oil cover plate, oil guard cover plate. Actually found one in the garage on another engine I had, and I didn't think that engine had one, but I remember I bought it on eBay, and the other day I saw one for sale on eBay, and I noticed it had one, so I pulled it off there, and then I sanded it a little bit, because you know that's gonna all get painted. Got a new gasket on there. So the new ones I'll just keep around for the next project whenever I need them. I could probably, you know, sell them to somebody if they needed them too. I've done that before, actually. You know, that's one of the common parts that people ask for, little covers. Got this all covered up. I really like this intake. It's almost perfectly matched to the port, as you can see in there. It's almost a perfect match to that port, like blueprint, you know, blueprint quality there. And yeah, that's nice. It'll work really, really good. So happy about that. And if anybody wanted to update on the E85 pressure washer, that's been working great. I've got about a couple of hours on it. Only had one minor problem. I turned it off one day in the middle of a job, and then you know, I turned it off. You know, I had to talk to some people. Went back to start the motor and it wouldn't start. Must have pulled the cord like 20 times. I kept fiddling with the choke on and off, on and off. And then finally I had disconnected everything, put it in the garage, took the air cleaner cover off, and there was E85 dripping down the air filter assembly. Wiped it all down. Tried to start the motor with the air filter off, started right up. And as it was running, I put the air filter back on, and it kept running. And then I just basically shut the fuel line off. I closed the fuel line and just let it run the carburetor dry. So I think that's best if you're working with the 85. And so I'm really happy with the E85 pressure washer. It's been working great. And you know, we'll see how that goes. And hopefully this works good too. And I think for this, I think I might put it on the Doodle Hog and you know, test it out a little bit, and then I might sell the Doodle Hog. I don't really mess with it. You know, it's just sitting around. So, well, there it is, all painted up, looking new, and it looks good. I like it anyway. Nice paint, a little bit brighter than I'd like, but yeah, not bad. Definitely looks a lot better than it did, especially that side cover. Paint went on nicely. A little bit tacky, but overall, really, really nice. And what's that down there? Oh, that's just cardboard. That's weird. Yep, not bad. So now I'm gonna put some parts on it. Go ahead and take the tape off. Put the oil drain plugs, oil fill plug caps. Probably install this oil seal. And get this all tightened down. Put some new bolts in there. And get the tape off. Alright, now we got some of the tape off. Got the oil drain plugs in, oil fill caps on, and looking pretty good. Turned out nice. Yep. Yep, this used to look like the clean new part. Now it kind of looks like the old part. And turned out nice. So let's take a look at the other side here. And yeah, not bad. Looks great. Got the oil seal in, brand new oil seal. Yep. Got some yellow zinc bolts in. Yep. Looks great. Now, gotta wait and that donor engine for the rest of the parts, that's at another location, so it might be a while till I get the rest of this finished up. But Yep, that might be this month actually. So, really happy with it. Really nice. Paint covered well. Got most of the little crevices in there. Looks great. Looks brand new. Well, except for that. But, yep. Okay, I'm back with another update. Wanted to show you guys some more things. First of all, I have this governor controlled throttle linkage setup hooked up, and basically what that's gonna do is my throttle is gonna hook up right here. This is an aftermarket piece, and that's gonna control the throttle, of course, through this spring right here, and then up this rod, and then over here to the carburetor. And I'm going to explain to you later why I'm doing it this way, but let me show you the carburetor I've chosen for this project. This is a rotary carburetor. It's made for Tecumseh 7 through 9 horsepower flathead engines, also known as the Snow King engines. This one has a throttle bore that is 930 thousandths of an inch, just a little bit less than 1 inch bore. Pretty large though. I think the Venturi is about, let me see here, Venturi is about 800 thousandths, possibly 850 thousandths, but it is very large, especially for this engine. What I like to do when I got this today actually, and what I did is I partially took it apart, just made sure all the parts were in there and functioning properly, and gave it a good inspection. What I have up here is a Velcro gasket. Basically going to use this because the gasket that came with the carburetor is not going to cover up this port right here, this pulse port, for until it's an internal fuel pump. So I've got to use this. I'd actually flip it like that, cover up that hole. That'll help me be able to use this carburetor. I've disabled the return spring in order to be able to use it with this linkage, and I'll go ahead and put that together and explain more about what's going on. Okay, so I've got the carburetor mounted with the governor linkage hooked up, and this is the way it operates. When the motor's off, it's in the full throttle position, and then as the motor starts up and the internal counterweights start to spin, pulls this lever out, allows it to idle. And then if the engine started to slow down at idle, it'd open up the throttle plate to give it fuel, and that helps it to keep running on cold starts. I had to bend this choke lever because I know it's not going to work with my air cleaner setup. It's going to get in the way, so I bent it upwards. It's usually straight out on the Tecumseh engines. And the other thing with this project is, it's another E85 engine, so I'll be testing E85 fuel in it first. And if that doesn't work out, I'll probably use the carburetor on something else. I don't know. I don't use gasoline fuels that much, not in my projects anyway. So back to the throttle setup. Okay, so you pull the throttle. Just gonna pull that. Of course, control the throttle up here, and that would get you to about 30 miles an hour, on a small vehicle. And so what I wanted to do is basically have a 2-speed setup. It wouldn't be 2 gears, with the centrifugal clutch, but it'd be a 2-speed setup by using another throttle either a thumb throttle or another, maybe a hidden throttle, and I'd use this, and then I'd connect this over here and on there. And what that allowed me to do is have the option of having, I would pull it there, so it'd be like full throttle, you know, and then it would be like a second gear or a second speed, and so I could either only use the throttle cable for like 30 miles an hour, and hopefully by using the second throttle setup I get to maybe 50-60 miles an hour. And so then I'd have a choice, you know, wherever you're riding around, you know, you could be sure that you're going at a, you know, a suitable speed limit. I think some speed limits are 25, and you could actually adjust this to 25 miles an hour with this screw right here. This right here is the maximum governed throttle, and you'd actually screw that in and you could slow down the top speed of the governed linkage. And you know, that's one thing I like about this linkage setup. Yeah, I might have to paint this. It's starting to get some corrosion on it. But with the second throttle linkage idea, you know, I could hook up a thumb throttle and go like 50-60 miles an hour, and that'd be pretty awesome to be able to, you know, have you know, the two speeds. So if anyone ever's done that before, you know, let me know how it worked out. And yeah, I should be getting the rest of the parts to build this engine soon. Like, hopefully the end of the week I'll have them, and then I could start putting this motor back together, get it complete, and start testing this out, and start trying to tune the carburetor for E85, and just see how, you know, this works out. Of course, I bought the fully adjustable high and low speed needle carburetor, and kind of excited to see how that works out. So hopefully I'll have that done soon. Okay, this is basically what it's going to look like when it's on the bike. I'm working on the exhaust. Remember the dual mufflers. I can't install the mufflers until it's on the bike because it just won't fit through the frame. It's a tight fit. Pull start, of course, gonna be right there. This cover's not even on. I just kind of put it on there to make sure everything looks good. Looks like a pretty fresh motor. I'm gonna use this, probably put a zip tie on it. Emergency, like a secondary emergency engine shut off. Got the cylinder head on there, bolts all torqued down. Yeah, let me see if I can. Oh, now it doesn't want to stay on. I might as well take this off anyway. I want to show you guys the ignition coil I went with. Got that from eBay. I think that's a newer style they came out with, or maybe someone figured out it fits a 5 horsepower motor. I like it. It's smaller. It's got a great deal on it too. I think it was like 20 bucks. Let me show you that's what they usually have. You know, it's a little bit smaller, shorter, nice and compact, and you know, when you take a good look at it, it looks like a dirt bike coil, ignition coil. It's right there at the tabs coming out, and then they put these arms, and then makes it a 5 horse coil. So I wonder if it's that simple to, you know, take a dirt bike coil and make a you know, Briggs coil or Tecumseh coil out of it. You know, but I like it. I think it makes the motor look newer, and it's a shame it'll be covered up by the fan shroud here. But maybe one of these days I'll cut this out right here, put some plastic, plexiglass, and I'll put like a strobe light, and then have it flash every time the spark goes off. And then when you look in there, you'll see the magnet pass by the magneto. That would be kind of cool. But kind of worried about this linkage. But as you can see, there's a bit of clearance there with the exhaust. And when I put the exhaust on, this linkage wasn't returning all the way into the full throttle position like I said it would, when the motor's not on. And so I just had to tweak the linkage down here, put more spring tension on it. And it's working now, but I hope it continues to work. And the only thing I'm worried about now is if there'll be enough fuel delivery. I got this right here, and that's just to keep dirt and dust going in these fittings. Of course, this is going to go to, decide to use the fuel pump. That's over here. That was on the bike on the other motor, which is now down there, which is probably going to sit there for a long time because it needs machine work. So I might use this fuel pump, and yeah, it should work okay. It's a float carburetor. So yeah. So I'd say in a week, I'm gonna be pretty busy. So in about a week, I might have this on the bike, ready to test. So that's it for now.